caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. Toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head, get you out of my head again.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin and the I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be why? Now that I need you, why? Just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks, I'll beat it down. I press the lens just to tell you, don't leave the way, don't leave the day. Then I try with a child's play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
We don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. So put your hands on me and turn me on, turn me up. We don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. So put your hands on me and turn me on, turn me up.
And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means? It's party time with the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man beside me, he is the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Woo, happy Thursday to you, Munson. I'm doing great, and I've got that special little spring in my step. That must mean that there's a PPW show right around the corner. And what show is it, Munson? The big one of the year. The Grey Cup of PPW wrestling, the Super Bowl of Saskatchewan grappling. It is known as Ring of Horrors. This one, number 2.
Oh, number three, Papa
Number
Smokes.
3.
It's the third one.
Number 3.
That's right. This is 3 years running. Hey, what are you guys up to Saturday? Besser, we're going to see you in that capacity because you will be amongst the PPW Nation in capacity this Saturday. Again, I can't stress it enough. I don't even know if there are tickets left or not. I can't guarantee it. The only way to find out is to either head on over right now, right this minute, call them, go down there. Glitch Gifts and Novelties in Saskatoon or Hunters Bowling, you may or may not be able to still buy tickets. Seating, all sold out. A good majority of the general admission tickets are definitely all sold out. This is going to be a packed show to the nines. Everybody who's anybody is going to be in there. It is going to be a hell of a time, Papa Smokes, as we look to crown the very first Prairie Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. We're going to talk heavily about that. We are going to have a TLC match for the first time in PPW. We're going to talk heavily about that. And we will have our costume gimmick battle royal. I can honestly say I already have a glimpse into this about two people, what they're dressing up as. And I'll say this time around, it may not be their favorite wrestlers and might be popular characters of another sort that we're going to see in the gimmick battle royal. I will not spoil it for anybody because I am not that type of person, but it will be an interesting inclusion into that battle royal at the top of the night. And Papa Smokes, I got to say, with that battle royal coming out, let's talk about this. We're going to try to pull this off again like we did last year, and we are going to try to have that battle royal for you guys on YouTube the Saturday following Ring of Horrors. So if we got Ring of Horrors this Saturday, 1 week from this Saturday, we're looking to have the gimmick battle royal uploaded to YouTube, full commentary with myself and Papa Smokes. Well, sorry, I should rephrase. Not with myself and Papa Smokes, with two very distinguished commentary guests. Are we getting the same ones back, Papa Smokes? Are we going a different direction? Who did you find in your Rolodex of commentators to bring in this year?
Well, yeah, we had to bring in some special guests for the Ring of Horrors Battle Royal. So, Papa Smokes has got a pretty thick black book of phone numbers there. I'm not one of these newfangled people that has a contacts list. I've got a little black book of all my numbers. It never leaves me. You can believe that I'm going to find someone to adequately take my spot in this. I suggest you do the same, Munson.
All right. I might know somebody. I might know someone. In fact, I might know somebody that in the meantime and in between time could fill in for me there for commentary. So
interesting.
Horror characters in a wrestling match. I'm not even going to give you a freaking clue, Bass. You're just going to have to find out when the music plays and the moment happens. You're going to pop, my man. I know you are going to pop. You're going to love it. I guarantee that the PPW Nation are going to have fun. They always do. I mean, it is one time a year that we do something that's, gimmicky, a little over the top. It's a one-time only thing. I know you're going to have your naysayers out there, Pop Smokes, and you and I have been down that road of when you see too much goofiness in wrestling, it gets to be a bit much. But with Prairie Pro Wrestling, we kind of do that one thing once a year. At first, it was just for the fans in attendance. We've kind of made it a thing for YouTube now where we have more involvement and stuff. Again, one time a year. It's not really canon to what we do regularly, but it's fun for the wrestlers. It's fun for the fans. And you got to do that. It's an indie promotion. You got to have that kind of level of fun at some point in time.
Oh, absolutely. We at PPW are all about fun, and we know that our fans are always looking for some fun. So, yeah. At the big show of the year, we've got some important and historic happenings. The first PPW Tag Team Champions will be crowned. We've got tables, ladders, and chairs matches. We've got all kinds of stuff. But what we also have is fun, and that's the Costume Battle Royal. I can't wait, Munson. What kind of characters have we seen in the past here? All kinds of great ones. Well, one of my personal favorites was seeing the Big Red Machine, Kane. And didn't it look just like him, Michael Allen Richard Clark, having the physique, having the movements down, having the mannerisms? Man, it was uncanny. He looked just like him.
You cynically liked that so much, mostly because he got his Big Red Machine hand across my golden throat and caused me some severe trauma at the time, Papa Smoke. So, I mean, that was probably to your cynical liking. I'm certain of that.
No, that was definitely part of it. Yeah, it was just giving a tip of the hat to Kane after that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Going to PPW, something that isn't necessarily a booked match at this point yet, Papa Smokes, but definitely something I wanted to bring to everybody's attention here. We had a promo drop earlier today from Marvelous Morris Waltz, and I wanted to take a moment to just play this. I don't know how the audio is going to come through, so if it doesn't come through, let me know. Yes, Bass Morris Waltz, but flag me right away if this audio doesn't come through. I'm just going to hit play right now.
Sprung upon us, and with it, a marvelous spectacle. For I am Marvelous Morris Waltz. And back at September's Revenge-a-Side, yours truly scored his first proper sweet W in Prairie Pro Wrestling. And who better for me to take revenge upon than the first man that wronged me in one coward ball Kelly. Yet I remain unsatiated. You see, Kelly was merely the first in a long list of wrongs which require correcting. And in 2 days' time, PPW just so happens to have Ring of Horrors 2. But don't get it twisted. I care not which Philistine from the locker room dares stand across from me in the ring. I will kick the competition to the graveyard and back and have them wishing they were stuck in some spooky slasher flick, begging and pleading for a Hollywood horror to come cease their suffering, but their cries will only be answered by Morris Waltz. And to moi, well, that's simply marvelous.
Okay, we got to talk about this for a moment, Papa Smokes. This thing dropped, and I got to say, damn, as he stepped up his game promo-wise here, this was a very solid promo from Morris Waltz.
Very much so, and it didn't have to be stepped up all that much because we've heard a few other ones. He usually drops a little message, a little warning to the rest of the roster some days before each PPW event, and is he ever eloquent? He's so well spoken, and I particularly enjoyed this one because he's got some nice flowing poetry going there, some alliteration, and he just sounds like $1,000,000. And what a talent Morris Waltz is. And did you listen to what he said? He wants previous wrongs to be righted. He's looking for revenge. He said he got the first step of it with, as he called him, Coward Ball Kelly. Oof. I can't even imagine. I don't even want to say it out loud because I would fear Cannonball's reaction, but Morris Waltz doesn't fear him. And you saw the magnificent victory he got last time. And the picture that he posted of himself, just the ecstasy of victory when the referee raised his hand. You had to get that feeling of excitement in the feeling of your gut, like, this guy's on to something. Morris Waltz is a close personal friend of Papa Smokes. I've been a huge supporter since day one. And to see him coming up with words and poetry like that, and to see him kind of just fitting himself into just a little bit different version of himself than he was before. Now he's marvelous, Morris Waltz. He's got the shades. He's got the hat. He's thinking and he's working all the time. This is a call out to the rest of PPW. You guys better watch out. He means business. He just told us also in that promo how beautifully delivered. Excellent work as always from marvelous Morris Waltz.
Now I got to ask you, Papa Smokes, because you're the one that brought this up as part of that promo, righting previous wrongs. And when Morris Waltz talks about that, could we start to wonder if one of those wrongs was that chair shot from one El Asesino?
I can't think that it wouldn't be. It almost absolutely has to be, because Morris Waltz, he had that frustration going on for a long time. He was wrestling good matches. He was putting together a good game plan. He had everything lined up, all his ducks in a row in all those matches, those first 5 matches or so he had in PPW. But he was robbed of the victory each time. There was always some kind of monkey business going on the outside, someone interfering, someone attacking his opponent, someone attacking him. He could never get that first pinfall victory that he was so craving. And now that he's got it, look at that confidence soar. So if righting this wrong against Cannonball Kelly has done him this much good, you know what he's going to be up to on Ring of Horrors. He's going to try and right another wrong.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into what we can talk about next. Before that, though, we're going to say hello to our friend Bobby Stats. He's up in the house. Bobby, how are you doing? Say hello to your lady friend Diane for us as well, too. Bobby, I believe, is currently on vacation, or you're going on vacation right away, but enjoy your time. Have a good time, as always, Bobby. But, yeah, going back to this, talking about could he potentially be looking to right the wrong done to him through El Asesino. And with El Asesino preoccupied with the first ever TLC match in Prairie Pro Wrestling history, him versus Michael Allen Richard Clark, could Morris Waltz potentially be an outside factor here? Could he dare step over the line that not many wish to cross and go after the Mexican Devil himself during the TLC match?
Well, I like your theory, Munson, but in a way it's almost unthinkable, because what wrestler would be insane enough to try a thing like that? El Asesino has been on a run in the last 2 years in PPW. His cruelty, his sadism are off the charts. He doesn't care. All he's in wrestling for is himself at this time. He doesn't care about the health or feelings of anybody else. So not only does Michael Allen Richard Clark have his hands full in this TLC match, I mean, I can't even imagine the lengths these two are going to go to against each other, because that's just pure hatred and pure rivals right there. But if Morris Waltz has the audacity or the brass balls to step into the ring in a match like that with El Asesino, he's got a lot more courage than most wrestlers and most human beings would have. Again, it sounds unthinkable to me, yet he made that promise, and that is one of the rights that could be wrong that he brought up in his statement. So anything's possible.
It really is. And now you talk about those things that are unthinkable, and to Basser's point, he says Johnny and Cannonball Kelly won't be here this Saturday. But Johnny did tell Basser, stab all them fuckers, referring to the Morris Waltz section. This is something that I thought was completely unfathomable, Papa Smokes. There was a change of pace. Morris Waltz had this whole section of the PPW Nation that were there for him, there to cheer him, despite the fact that Waltz clearly does not give a damn about the Morris Waltz section or about the PPW Nation, and is laser focused on his in-ring abilities. They still were cheering him on regardless, and they turned on Cannonball Kelly and Johnny Two Fingers, and there was a lot of dissension that we have not seen between the audience and Cannonball Kelly and Johnny. In fact, Johnny and Cannonball were two of the most beloved members of the PPW roster, and that was the most disdain I've seen towards the two of them ever from a Saskatoon audience.
Yeah, it's wild. I use the same word again. It's almost unthinkable that would happen. But when you break it down, it's not a mystery why Morris Waltz, despite his kind of abrasive character and maybe some would say overconfidence or arrogance, I can still see why fans take to him. This is wrestling, Munson. He can come out and toss off the fans, so to speak, just not give a damn what the fans think, but they still like his in-ring ability. They still like his charisma. They still like his promos, and they still like the way he conducts himself in the ring. So Morris Waltz is going to get admirers. Look at those kicks, Munson, those Taekwondo kicks. You got to be in admiration of some of that work. And Morris Waltz is slowly but surely than getting support and admiration from the PPW fans by hook or by crook, as I like to say. And isn't it funny that as they started cheering him in this match, they naturally kind of turned against Cannonball Kelly
Mhm.
and Johnny Two Fingers, who you have to admit, Munson, came out to the ring with just a little bit of a different feel too. Not the same energy and the running around the ring and the diving into the ring and stuff. Just a little more of a thoughtful Cannonball Kelly. I'm not sure he knew what he was going to do in that match that night. There's just a weird air in PPW coming up to Ring of Horrors. There are all kinds of problems and all kinds of little issues that need to be addressed, that need to be taken up. And Cannonball Kelly and Johnny Two Fingers' relationship with the fans is one of those situations that will need to be addressed at Ring of Horrors.
Yeah, 100%. Going to take a little sidestep here. Bobby wanted to know if Richard Holiday were to ever wrestle in PPW, who would you guys like to see him go against?
Oh,
It's a
that'd
great
be
question.
awesome.
You know, when I look at the landscape, there's a lot of people in PPW I'd like to see him go against. But when you're bringing in somebody who is a touring professional, works for multiple companies, you want to make sure that they're in there with someone who's going to not only give them a quality match, it's gonna draw the attention and the ire of your fan base. It's also somebody who can make sure that that person's going to be able to walk away the next day to get to their next booking and stuff. So all those things need to be considered. With Holiday being more on the heel side, and I prefer heel Holiday a lot more, I would prefer to see him against, say, a Michael Allen, Richard Clark would be a great matchup. You know, him, you know, it's tough because like an El Asesino or Zoe Sager could fit that mold, but they're on the heel side themselves. So you got to look to our baby faces, our clear baby faces. And Michael Allen, Richard Clark really is at the top of that game. You know, Colton Kelly is another name that comes up that I think that fits that mold as well too. But how about yourself, Papa Smokes?
Yeah, I would agree with both those choices, including Zoe Sager as well, who could handle the job. And I would even suggest, although he's in a tag team, Michael Richard Blaze. Can you imagine that match?
Yeah.
That could be some hot stuff right there.
I mean, Blaze has worked with some of the best already in the industry. And, you know, I mean, so is Clark. So, you know, Zoe at this point has had a lot of great big matchups herself as well, too. And we know that El Asesino over his time in professional wrestling is tangled with some big names in the industry. So all four of them, people that could really definitely hang there for sure with somebody like a Richard Holiday and give you that quality match that people are going to want to see. But I could go through the whole PPW roster legitimately and say I would want to see all of them get a chance with Richard Holiday. Why not?
Yeah, I would like to additionally suggest Uncle Phil Deadly or Sean Moore as well.
Yeah. Oh, Sean Moore and Richard Holiday would be just, oh man. You know, the fact that those two haven't even crossed paths at some point in time, both being traveling wrestlers, like, damn, that would be good. Even though I think he beats Tommy Gallivan, but why not? Why not, Tommy?
Sure.
I mean, come on. Tommy's he's a good dude. He goes out there and he puts up a good fight. So why not? You'd love it too, Baz. You'd be cheering. You'd be out there having fun with it. So, but let's go back to Ring of Horrors 3 now, because there's so much to talk about. I want to get to the big matches as well too. But another thing that, again, we just called the main event from the Revengicide night, which was a tag team matchup. So that's going to be coming up on YouTube later in November for everybody to see how it unfolded. But we saw the reuniting of the team of Jack Pride and Riley Cruz. Jack Pride claiming he was sorry. He felt bad. He didn't mean to turn on Riley. Let's be friends again. Let's go back after the opportunity to get in the eyes of PPW management, to be in the title picture. And like an absolute monster, Jack Pride refuses a tag from Riley Cruz as they're fighting the Brotherhood and walks to the back, leaving Riley Cruz to take a massive beatdown from those two big behemoths, the Brotherhood.
Oh, absolutely. And how shocking it was to see that match again. And especially because you listened to Jack Pride when he came out at the beginning of Revenge's side, asked to have a mic, had a few things to say, spoke directly to Riley Cruz and said, "Hey, we've had our problems in the past. I think we're a good team. I think we can do good. My experience, your youthful enthusiasm, we can get this stuff done if we believe in ourselves." I know I was sitting there listening to that thinking like he's right, like he's right. They could be one of the top teams in PPW without question. Riley also took Jack Pride's words at face value and said, "Okay, man, good," because I also thought we had something going here as a tag team. And then when the match started against the Brotherhood, Pride and Cruz were looking good in that match. They have all kinds of talent. And again, you saw that Pride with the experience and he's changed his style and polished up his style over the years. He's so slick in the ring. Riley still more of a newcomer, but he's got that energy and that heavy metal mania that just brings him through the matches in such strong fashion. They were doing good, and they had some tandem tag team maneuvers, and they actually had the Brotherhood on the ropes for the first few minutes of that match, maybe even the first 5 minutes. I was thinking to myself while we were calling it, what's going to happen in this? Pride and Cruz are maybe going to rise up to the top of the ranks, but oh, like you said, Pride was not true to his words. And when Riley Cruz needed him the most, had been isolated by the Brotherhood in their corner, getting double teamed, getting tandem tag team maneuvers performed on him, when finally he got the chance to crawl across the ring and get over there for the tag, what does Pride do? Raise his hands up and jump off the ring apron. "I'm out of here. I'm not helping you. This is me turning my back on you, Riley Cruz." Ah, awful moment. And even more awful moments after that because the Brotherhood laid a hideous beating on Riley Cruz.
You bet. And again, nothing is set in stone right now, but this is pure speculation at the moment with what we've seen unfold, that I would imagine Riley's going to have something to say. He's not going to take this lightly. Jack Pride obviously is got some beef still with Riley Cruz, so we might see those paths cross in some capacity at Ring of Horrors 3 this coming Saturday. So it's something to expect along the way. Speaking of things to expect, people are expecting something with the Prairie Pro Wrestling Championship, Papa Smokes. Of course, it's just not a PPW show if the title's not in the picture in some way, shape, or form, or at least the champion, Sheik Akbar Shabazz. We know last time out, he didn't even want to defend the belt. He said he wasn't going to defend it because guess what? He gets the night off because Colton Kelly wasn't there for his rematch, but he was forced to have a match anyway. Had a match with Uncle Phil Deadly for not a title match, comes out clean on that one. And now we've got the champion walking around, strutting his stuff, and nobody stepping up to the plate yet. There's so much focus on the tag titles. There's so much focus on this TLC match. People are forgetting that we've got one of the most dominating champions in Canadian wrestling history walking around as the second-time PPW champion. Now, I know Jack McWigan, they're our good friend, him and Boris over on the X, check them out. They wanted to ask a little bit about this. They wanted to know if PPW management had heard from Cutthroat Colton Kelly since the last time he was seen when he lost the PPW championship. And the answer is not yes and no. We've heard from Colton. I can't guarantee in any way, shape, or form if Colton Kelly will in fact be there this Saturday. I don't have an official word yet. Nothing has been handed down. I wish I could tell you more. I wish I could give you a glimmer of hope that the former champion will be there to take his rightful rematch against Sheik Akbar Shabazz, which I know a lot of you are longing for. But in some way, shape, or form, I believe that we're going to have a title match. One way or another, Sheik's going to be made to defend that belt. Whether Colton Kelly shows up or not, I believe that PPW management's not going to allow Sheiky to have the night off without having that belt on the line.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, Munson. And I mean, from the last show, no one was more no one was more disappointed than Papa Smokes when they decided to go ahead with the Sheik Akbar Shabazz match, even though they didn't have championship contender for him, because he invited me to go to the hot tub with him. He's got some ladies. We were going to go to the hotel with some champagne, a little bit of the bubbly, as they like to say, with some good looking ladies and sit in the hot tub. These are the kind of invitations that Papa Smokes gets on a regular basis. But of course, PPW had to rain on our parade, had to say, Sheik, you're having a match no matter what. You're going to work in this ring, whether it's defending that title or not. And our plans had to get canceled or postponed at least. But I have the feeling the same thing will happen this show. We haven't really announced that there's going to be a title match, but I have a very, very strong suspicion that Sheik Akbar Shabazz will be in the building with that PPW championship belt. Whether it gets put up for grabs in Ring of Horrors, that remains to be seen. But I have the feeling that the Sheik will make his presence known at Ring of Horrors.
I believe he will as well, too, Papa Smokes. You can expect to see him there and likely expect to see that belt on the line. Speaking of belts on the line, though, Papa Smokes, we got the very first tag team championships going to be crowned at a triple threat three-way matchup. It's the Clandestine Society versus the Short Kings versus the Brotherhood. And two of those three teams have sent in official promo videos to Prairie Pro Wrestling offices. And for those who have yet to see them, well, you're in luck because you are about to. I'm going to play both those videos here and share them with you. We are going to start with the one that came in first, and that was from the Brotherhood. So here we go. This is what the boys in the Brotherhood had to say about this coming Saturday.
Prairie Pro Wrestling Nation, the day approaches. October the 26th is upon us, and we are about to crown your first ever Prairie Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Brotherhood. You think that their odds of winning have lessened just because they have been put into a triple threat match for those championships? No. Not the combined forces of the Clandestine Society or the Short Kings can possibly stop these men from inflicting re-education.
PPW office, you've really flipped my biscuit this time. Since we showed up on the scene, we have done nothing but destroy the tag team division. The Short Kings can't beat us. Clandestine Society doesn't even show up half the time. As far as I'm concerned, we're already your tag team champions. You know what? I'm just done. I'm gonna go drink beer and shoot shit till the show. I'm just done.
You see, Crash Crimson and the PPW office, when you made this match a triple threat, you are sacrificing the lives of 4 other men. The lives of these men are in your hands. You better have body bags in the back to return them to their families.
So come and bear witness to the crowning of your first ever Prairie Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions through the power of re-education, courtesy of wrestling's smartest man, Bucky McGraw.
Oh, there you have it. That's the message that we're getting from the Brotherhood ahead of this matchup, Papa Smokes.
Wow.
Your thoughts on what we heard there from the Brotherhood?
Some pretty strong words, I must say. And McGraw cuts a very nice promotional video there. He's very he's the intelligent man in wrestling, but what he promises is the same thing that he's always brought to PPW. He wants to re-educate the rest of the roster. You have to have the feeling that that re-education involves physical violence, repeated physical violence until the re-education is achieved. That's what the Brotherhood promises. and looking at that tag team with Bucky McGraw on the outside, but these two giant monsters of men, you got to think that it is possible to completely change someone's mindset through the violence they'll inflict. And listen to Dixie Dragon, very strong words, talking about body bags, talking about ending people's lives. How serious do you think that the Brotherhood are about getting these belts? They aren't going to let anything stand in their way.
You bet. It's going to be a lot of bodies flying all over the place, Papa Smokes. I can guarantee that. PPW management has yet to receive anything from the Clandestine Society in response. I would not be surprised if we do get something in the next day or two prior to the matchups. The Clandestine Society likely will respond, or they're just going to flat out come and respond when they get inside that squared circle in this matchup. But someone who did respond, and we just got this video in today, and I know a lot of people will be excited about this because we did put a poll out over on X for everybody. If you haven't checked it out already, it's up there until I think mid-afternoon tomorrow about who you want or who you think will be your first ever PPW Tag Team Champions. And the last I checked, Papas, folks, this team, the Short Kings, were leading with 50% of the votes right now. The votes a little bit split between the Brotherhood and the Clandestine Society, but 50% of the viewing audience believe that the Short Kings are going to be the ones to walk out as the very first Prairie Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. So we're going to go ahead and play the video here, and we will talk about that in just a moment.
You know, a lot has changed last year in PPW. But one thing has stayed the same, and that's we are still fighting, we are still working, and we are still going for the PPW Tag Team Championships.
See, a whole year we've been beating the best in the area. Doesn't matter if we're down, doesn't matter if we're broken, we still rise above everybody else.
So, triple threat match, Clandestine Society, Brotherhood. It's true, you guys are the two other best teams around. People we don't really have an answer for yet. But that's different now. We've grown. We've changed. We are new Short Kings, and we are not leaving PPW without those tag team championships.
Because PPW is going to be under our care, and those title belts are our crown, baby.
Not dead. Ever.
There we have it. That coming from the thickness, Reed Matthews and Mars the Specialist, who really do strongly believe they're going to walk out with the gold. A lot of the PPW Nation agree. I am inclined to believe them as well, too, Papa Smokes. They are very convincing in their conviction when it comes to what they're going to bring to the ring at the Ring of Horror 3 this coming Saturday.
Well put, Munson. And to talk about conviction, they just talked about the past year since they've been appearing as the Short Kings as a tag team in PPW. They came in with a bang, with a whole bunch of energy and enthusiasm. The fans took to them immediately. But as you saw in that clip just now, they're saying that they're a different Short Kings. They're a new Short Kings now. They said, we've changed, we've kept working hard, and we've kept improving. Now, that's got to sink into your mind a little bit as well, because what does it take to be a champion in wrestling or in any kinds of sport? Strong mindset, dedication, honor to your art and everything. These guys are awesome wrestlers. These guys are dead set on getting the tag team titles in PPW. And with that work and that conviction and that dedication behind them, I think they can achieve whatever they want to. I think they will achieve. And like they said, they're new Short Kings, so they want new crowns. And those crowns that they have planned are those beautiful green and gold PPW tag team titles.
Yeah. We got Bass coming in saying his pick to win is the Short Kings. We know he's a huge fan of them. But again, talking about the fanfare, again, we haven't heard from them yet, but the Clandestine Society, Michael Richard Blaze, you ought to talk about a wealth of experience right there, along with the Rhinestone Cowboy, Stephen Crow, who came in with a bang as well, too. When these two came in as a tag team to Prairie Pro Wrestling, this is what ignited the thought of Prairie Pro Wrestling having tag team champions in the first place. It became all about the Clandestine Society, And that seems to be what opened this door to the likes of the Brotherhood. That's what opened the door to the likes of the Short Kings all of a sudden. And yes, the Short Kings have come out and become the more popular team. But the Clandestine Society, especially with that veteran knowledge of Michael Richard Blaze, is going to have a lot to say about it. And again, as a team, they have won tag team gold before in other companies many times. They are very good at claiming gold wherever they go.
Well, and a few weeks back, Munson, we talked about this upcoming tag team extravaganza at Ring of Horrors just a few weeks ago on this podcast. A few of us, a couple of the viewers, and you and I picked who we thought might win the tag team titles, and we all picked a different team. At that time, I picked Clandestine Society because I still have it in my mind from months ago, from the springtime when we first started featuring tag team matches. The Clandestine Society came in. They were the Cadillac of the tag teams at that time. They were the leading the way. And I've had it in my mind ever since then with the skill, the charisma, the popularity that they have around PPW. It's always kind of been said in my mind that I can't see anyone else as the first tag team champs. It's going to be the Clandestine Society. That's who I picked just a couple of short weeks ago on this podcast when I was asked to pick a winner in this match. Since then, and since it's been announced as a three-way match, now it's even more difficult for me to decide. Everything's evening out now as we come upon the match just in a couple of short days here. It's really evening out now. It's a tough call. The power and the destructiveness of the Brotherhood, the sheer engine, the sheer wagon that the Short Kings are that bring all that enthusiasm to their matches, and then just that charisma and that chemistry of the Clandestine Society. It's a tough call, Munson. It's a really tough call. That's why we have championship matches. We're going to have a winner in this no matter what. And Crash Crimson is going to hand out those brand spanking new tag team champions. It's history, Munson. It's wrestling history in this province. We haven't had a tag team champion in this province in quite a few years now, probably since High Impact Wrestling. So this is a moment for all the fans to remember. This is new tag team supremacy in Saskatchewan.
It really is. I know I said before, my heart of hearts wants our brothers, the Short Kings, to be able to pull off the victory. No disrespect to the Clandestine Society either, but my cynical mind's telling me that Brotherhood, that numbers game, everything about them, the fact that they just don't give a damn, and the violence that they bring to the table, the destruction they're willing to do to get the gold is going to carry them through. So I still believe it's going to be the Brotherhood, but my heart of hearts, I mean, I know we're not supposed to be always picking favorites when we work there, but you know, they've been on our show before, and my heart of hearts wants to see the Short Kings be able to pick up that gold. Speaking of the Short Kings, though, they're going to have new merch available, new shirts available, so make sure that you bring some money, get yourself a shirt, and get some merch from the rest of the wrestlers that are going to have them available. But the mayhem that we're going to see from a triple threat tag match is only the tip of the iceberg, Papa Smokes, because let's talk about it. It's the one that we're going to finish off the night with here. The first ever tables, ladders, chairs match in Prairie Pro Wrestling history. Last year, we had the first ever chairs match in Prairie Pro Wrestling history. Cannonball Kelly, El Asesino took it to the limit, took it to places I didn't know it could go. We saw wheelchairs, we saw barbed wire chairs, we saw the chairs from the audience that ended up going into the back of Bass's leg in the process and giving him a good old bruise there. We saw mayhem, and that was just a chairs match. This time around, these two, who I guarantee you are willing to beat the living tar out of each other because I've seen it time after time with them, they're going to have not only the chairs to play with, but tables and ladders as well, too. I fear for the careers of both these gentlemen by the time this one is said and done, because I don't think either one of them is going to be the same no matter who's victorious in this match.
Oh, yeah, I believe that as well, Munson. And it's been a year since that chairs match last time of El Asesino versus Cannonball Kelly, I can still hear, just like it's a sound happening right now, I can still hear those chair shots that El Asesino was smashing over the back of Cannonball Kelly. Just almost completely gross in its violence, the way he was doing it. Another thing I can still hear ringing in my ears is from Revenge's side when El Asesino pulled that 8-foot step ladder out from underneath the ring, set it up in the ring, put Michael Allen Richard Clark on the table, and climbed all the way up to the top of that extra tall ladder and splashed him through it. Man, the impact of that, Munson, it was right in front of us as we did our camera work, and the sound of that wood splintering, the sound of all the breath getting pushed out of Michael Allen Clark's body, just that, it's just such an awful sound. It's the sound of somebody being hurt. And you know that Michael Allen Clark has not forgotten about any of that stuff.
No.
And Clark is a wrestler's wrestler. He likes to get in the match, do chain wrestling, do all kinds of moves, do all kinds of holds and all that. Doesn't usually strike you as the kind of guy that gets down and dirty in a hardcore match or a weapons match like this. However, we have seen him reach down into those levels. Not only did Clark and Asesino have a tremendous weapons match some years ago in the previous promotion here, which was talked about for years and years and years after the spring meltdown one year in Regina. But we have also seen Clark versus Jacob Creed in a lights out, no disqualification match that went all kinds of crazy places. And Clark, it comes naturally to Jacob Creed. He's that kind of guy. He's sadistic. He likes hurting people. But Clark, you saw that he had to reach inside himself. He had to get down. He had to get into that primal, animalistic kind of mindset in order to compete and to find victory over Jacob Creed in that match. So if you don't think that Clark can go there and be that guy, he can. And we've seen it before. And I know that Asesino knows that as well. So he's not going to take him lightly either. This is going to be a clash, Munson. This is going to might be a bloodbath, might be all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I agree with you completely. I fear for the health and the sanity of both these wrestlers by the time this match gets finished.
You bet. I just want to address something here. Bass, actually, you should have remembered this from last year, my friend. No, El Asesino and Cannonball Kelly did not participate in the costume battle royal last year. After their hellacious fight, they were in no condition to be putting on that kind of level of match. So it is very possible, my friend, that you won't see El Asesino or Michael Allen Richard Clark in that gimmick battle royal, because guess what? They're going to be effed up. They're going to be effed up something nasty. Yeah, yes, yeah, I'm telling you, man. They didn't participate, and I'm pretty sure it'll be the same this year, unless for some reason that gimmick battle royal goes on earlier in the evening or something. But I just don't see it, because again, the animosity between these two individuals is about as real as it gets backstage, pops, folks. Like, again, I harken back to that match you're talking about with Michael Allen and Creed, where we couldn't even keep them contained in the backstage area. It is nearly damn well near the same when it comes to Michael Allen and El Asesino. We have had to keep them completely separated backstage to avoid having a brawl like we did when Creed and Michael Allen went at it backstage some years ago.
Yeah, and you've also been around PPW shows before they start, after they finish. We work for the company. You have also, the same as I have, heard Michael Allen, Richard Clark, and El Asesino interact verbally, and that doesn't sound so good either. They will speak to each other on business if they have to, but you can hear the tension even verbally between these two. There's something simmering under the surface here, it's a dislike, it's a rivalry, it's a competition, and it's just a plain old hatred between these two guys. They don't like each other. It's not an act. It's not a storyline. These two don't like each other, and they never have. This goes back years and years and years that we've been watching wrestling in this province. There's no other way to say it. They don't like each other, and they're going to keep clashing like this until it gets finished. And I have the feeling that this tables, ladders, and chair match could be the end of what has been a years and years long rivalry and hatred between these two.
You bet. It's all going to accumulate this coming Saturday. And like I said earlier in the night, Papa Smoke, seating has been sold out for weeks. You know that your only chance in is to go get your general admission tickets. Head on over to Glitch Gifts or Hunter's Bowling to get your general admission standing room tickets to be part of the PPW Nation that are going to witness a historical night in Saskatchewan professional wrestling, because we're all about making the history here when it comes to professional wrestling in Saskatchewan. And speaking of Papa Smoke, speaking of that history of Saskatchewan wrestling, what do we got coming up on November 21st? Yes, November 21st. I even have a little bit more details. It is free of charge. You do not have to pay for a ticket. Come on down to Louis' Pub at the University of Saskatchewan on Thursday, November the 21st. 7 p.m. is going to be the kickoff time. So we will be live here on stream, but we'll also be live on location at Louis' Pub talking about Saskatchewan's history of professional wrestling, talking about diversity in the province, not only in the province, but in across professional wrestling in general. It is going to be approximately a 90-minute program. We are going to be doing a good, at least an hour plus of giving you history, giving you thoughts on the diversity of the sport and everything like that. But then we're also going to go into a Q&A with our viewing audience on screen, as well as the live audience as well, too. It's going to be great. And thank you to everybody over at the University of Saskatchewan in the working in the archives area and stuff like that have done everything to put this great show together. And to refer to you and I, Papa Smokes, as keynote speakers.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to bring that up at the beginning of the show too, about having a spring in my step. Wasn't it? Hasn't it been nice the last couple of weeks, Bob? You and I, just like the back to school feeling, like the mature students that we are, walking on campus with those yellow and orange leaves of fall swirling around. The big man back on campus, Munson, doing some study in special collections in the library, going through the files, making notes, taking names, chewing bubblegum. We're getting ready for this podcast, our biggest trip to the territories yet. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. Can't wait to do it live. We've always wanted to do one live. Well, we get our chance now. This is going to be awesome. Anyone in town, if you're free on the Thursday night, come on out and check it out. Support us. But we're going to be doing our thing there. We're getting all our I's dotted and our T's crossed. It's going to be looking good. We got more work to do, but we're going to make sure this comes off perfectly.
Yeah, work is mostly all on our end. They have done quite a bit of everything. They've started to tell people on campus about it, getting prepared for it. So they're expecting a good turnout. We're hoping that you, our fans that are going to be in the Saskatoon area, are going to be able to join live. We would love to have you there as well, too, for this amazing experience that we're going to, and so much there. There's so much information. I've got the digital copies of the stuff that we asked to be scanned, ready for the show, Papa Spoke. So I got to put together some sort of slide presentation, stuff that we're going to be talking about, things that we've learned that we didn't even realize about the rich history of professional wrestling here in the province. And just amazing. It's going to be a great time. But speaking of good times, we are going to get wrapped up here pretty quick and make way for the Honor Ramble. I know there's a little bit of a surprise on Honor Ramble tonight, and I can't say it because even Collins and Kimmy don't know about this, but I do. So they're going to have an interesting surprise coming up here in just a short little bit, so stay tuned for them. But yes, speaking of great things, speaking of Kimmy and speaking of Auntie Collins for that matter, they're going to be joining us right here next week, Thursday night, Halloween edition of Ring Respect Radio. It's WTF Do We Know About Wrestling? And guess what? If you didn't know already, I'm not hosting this one. I'm not asking the questions this time around. The rules remain the same, but Ed Fries has written the questions. He's prepped this all up with a very Halloween theme to it. He's going to be asking. But you and I, Papa Smokes, along with Auntie Collins and Kimmy, joining Ring Respect Radio for the very first time, are going to be on screen competing for the very first ever OLE TV championship. Meanwhile, we're going to have the Twitch chat championship and the YouTube chat championship on the line for the viewers as well, too. It's going to be a blast next Thursday night. But it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully everybody tunes in for that. So yeah, any final words, Papa Smokes, or are we ready to make this show cost a whole lot more money?
Well, I'm just going to say I'm really looking forward to the trivia next week. And I know that my other close personal friend, the BDJ, is Twitch champion. He wants to get in there. He wants to defend the belt. But it's Halloween, and he's a dad, so there may be a little bit of schedule conflict there. We're trying to work something out. Maybe Papa Smokes is going to play in his place. Maybe be the interim title holder. We're not sure about that. We're going to see. But he's not looking to let go of that Twitch title anytime soon.
Is he going to do some sort of screwy WWF thing where, like, the $1 Million Man pays Andre the Giant to get the belt for him kind of situation? Is that what we're going to see here, Papa Smokes? Some shenanigans?
I can't reveal anything for sure, but you bring up an interesting solution, yes.
We'll see what ends up happening. Your only way to find out is next Thursday right here on the channel. Ring Respect Radio presents WTF Do We Know About Wrestling Trivia Night on Halloween night, baby. And I can guarantee you that you might not quite see this face next Thursday, because I believe the Terror Lord is going to be stepping in for myself. And who knows if he's got the right knowledge, but we're going to find out just how much he knows. You're going to get introduced to the Terror Lord next Thursday night.
Oh my God, Munson, as if the green face killer is scary enough. And then the Terrifier is pretty scary. I don't know. It's, I used to always be scared that we would get an interview on here with Mads Kruger and he would come through the screen and get us. Now I got to worry about this again.
Yep. You got to watch out. The Terror Lord is coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. That's next Thursday night. But in the meantime and in between time, cha-ching, the bank account just went down because Papa Smokes' ticker's on the screen. Let them know where you're at, Papa Smokes.
All right, everybody. I'm always on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I'm at Smokes_Papa. I can also be found at the BDJ's stomping ground of Twitch. I am at Papa_Smokes_. That's
where you can find Papa Smokes. As for me, Bobby Munson. Over the X, it's Real Bobby Munson. Instagram and Threads at Video Bros SK. Over on Twitch, it's Video Bro_Bobby Munson. And what have I got coming up? Well, this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, join myself, the return of Mark Robson, Ed, and as well as possibly Andre, giving you all of our NFL predictions, giving you the update as to where we are. I believe Ed and I might have made up a little bit of ground again this week. So there we go. They're my ringer, Ed Fries, there helping me out, making sure I might get out without getting the ice bucket on the head come February. So hopefully that's going to turn out into my favor. Of course, we're going to be, like we said, next Thursday here on the channel, that special WTF, and my cats are fighting. It's that time of year. The cats are having a battle in the kitchen. But yes, it's going to be the trivia night next Thursday night here on the channel. It's going to be a blast. You can also catch myself with Papa Smokes every Saturday, Ring Respect Radio, Prairie Pro Wrestling Saturday afternoons, calling all the commentary. But Ring Respect Radio can be found right here on OLE Podcast. That's where you can find us across all social media, as well as YouTube and Twitch, where we would like if you go give us a subscribe here on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, hit that notification bell to let you know anytime we got new stuff coming out right here on the channel. That's going to be it for us. We're going to move aside for the Honor Ramble. Take care, everybody. We will see you in 1 week's time for Trivia Night here on Halloween. Take care.